I'm trying to check if I'm live on YouTube.
Okay, what about LinkedIn as well?
I didn't use Restream, so I just left it.
Yeah, thank God I didn't use it because I saw your comment in my post with it. I was like, oh, you didn't send me that one.
Oh, okay. Trying to check if I'm live. I think it's live. I think we are live. So are we ready to start? Are we ready? Benedicta, I can see your camera.
Yeah, should I turn it on? Are we starting already?
Are we about to start?
Okay. Are you seeing it?
Hi, yes, I can see you.
Okay.
Okay. I was trying to make sure I post on LinkedIn the new YouTube video.
Uh, was a new link created?
You know that when people go to my YouTube page, they're able to see that I'm live. That was why I used the YouTube link, the YouTube channel
Mm,
link initially.
okay.
Yes. So, but I still use the live link, so it's direct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think we're good to go. Hi, ladies. How are you doing? Kinga, how are you doing?
Oh,
How is your day?
I'm good. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know.
Nothing,
Mm-hmm.
nothing, literally,
Hey,
because of help
Kanga.
from my end. Hi,
Yeah.
Benedicta. How are you doing?
Okay.
You look so fresh. How is UK? Should I come?
I'm sure I'm not the one you're talking to.
I'm
I'm very sure.
I'm talking to you because you're actually looking fresh from here. I'm serious.
No, I know it's the opposite because I'm actually just coming back from work.
You don't look tired anyway. You still look good.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you so much for joining me, and to everyone watching, I appreciate you for joining, and thank you so much. So literally, today's webinar is going to be not really like a professional kind of setting. I don't want it to be like LinkedIn. So it's going
Mm-hmm.
to be filled with so much conversations, insights, and these amazing ladies are going to share their experiences. So I brought my team, or let's say my topic, from one of my team members. I don't really like to do things on my own most of the time. So I kind of like ask them a question. This is what I'm planning. Can you really just give me a topic? And one of them brought this. I was like, I didn't even bother to tweak it. I didn't bother to like change the topic because this topic aligned with what I wanted. And that's
Mm,
why we are going to talk about it today, because a lot of women are kind of like caged in this um self belief that maybe they got from their personal experiences, they got from their youthful ages, or maybe they got from their region.
mm,
So let's get started, and I'd love you to really like stay tuned. You can share this video with your bestie, share with your female uh friends, your siblings, any other person around you. All right, so you already know me. I don't need too much introduction, but I'm gonna allow the beautiful ladies right here to introduce themselves and just get started. So Kinga, please, I'd like to really like um ask you a question about what you struggled with when you were growing up as a woman. Were you really like, did you have kind of like a societal stereotype when you started? Was there something that stopped you from, becoming who you wanted to be up to this stage?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me here. I am really grateful for the opportunity. Um, so I grew up in Vermont, in the United States, which is a northeastern part and very close to the Canadian border. And my parents were born in Hungary. And so I learned two languages as a child and had a very kind of culturally diverse household.
Hmm.
And so inside, I felt like I was different than everybody else
Yeah.
because really had this kind of different, ceremonies at home and things like that. And so when I entered work, I didn't realize that the way that I was showing up was also very different. And I think that that made me stand out when I didn't even realize that that was something. I think in school, you're kind of naturally traveling together through
Yeah.
progression.
Yeah.
But at work, it was different. And so being outspoken, which I thought was a good thing because to me, it was around getting towards a common goal. And that, hey, if we speak up, we're actually trying to meet these objectives. That was that I thought that that would be embraced and celebrated because I just thought that was the right thing to do. It wasn't so much. And that was a struggle for me. I didn't realize that I was not making friends when I assumed that I was.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah.
even from my own end, I was like, I was this kind of a more introverted person. I always stay in the house, and that was the personality I grew up with. But it didn't really stop me from, doing the things I needed to do. And some weeks ago, my mom said that my sister saw me online talking, and she was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even expect my sister to talk this way because I know how she grew up and." Any little thing, she's just always like, by on herself. And I was like, yeah, I realized that I needed to just be myself. I don't need to be introverted to not succeed or to not do the things I needed to do. So even if I'm introverted, I still had things to do. I still had plans. I still like showed up. So I really thank you so much. I kind of like got what you were saying. And so Benedicta, please, I'd really like, loved you to talk about confidence because you are a woman I've seen build an amazing company. And I want you to talk about it. Were you always like this? What gave you the confidence to really like build to this stage?
Okay, so the thing is, um because of my age and because of my body shape, I'm not that big, right?
Yeah, yeah, but it's
Most
fine.
times most times people don't let me say outside the world, outside online, people always ask me, are you up to 18 years? Because I look very young and I look baby sometimes. So, but actually I love it for myself because I feel like, oh, if I grow old, I'm still going to look young and people won't believe I'm old. But then to other people, it's just like, oh, she looks very young. So it was very intimidating. I actually found out recently that one of the ladies who intimidated me then in school because she was very tall and big. I just found out when she did her birthday just few
Wow.
weeks ago of yeah, last month, something like that. I just found out that we are age mates. I never knew through school because she never talked about her age. And she was very intimidating that when I speak, she's just like, look at this little girl who gave you the guts to speak. And I always like, okay, maybe because she's my senior, right? So it has always hindered my confidence. Sometimes I always think twice before I speak up in school. I never wanted to go into any leadership positions because I just like, what would they say, right? But I just think when I left school, I found myself. It took me a while to find myself, right? I confidently knew that I have a lot within me, but I wasn't that sure. I needed a push. So after school, I found myself, and I say LinkedIn is the best thing that happened to me because through LinkedIn, I found my people. I found people who don't even care to know your size, right? They don't get to know your age. They are supporting you, and they always want to learn from you. By God's grace, I've taught people times two of my age, times three of my age, and it's something that grows your confidence with time. I'll say that confidence is something that you decide to have. It's not something you earn from people. No. Even if people just always say, "Oh, you look so beautiful," like Precious. I just read a comment from someone that said, Precious Carrie is always wonderful. I'm going to attend this event. I just saw it on LinkedIn. I had to tag you to the comments, right? So sometimes you don't need to always wait for people to give you a push or to believe in you first before you believe in yourself. No. Some
Exactly.
days you just have to develop it. It's
Mm-hmm.
inside you already. You just have to believe that I know I'm not too good in this, but I'm going to push for it. When I
Mm-hmm.
started my digital skills company, I didn't have any leadership training. I didn't have any idea how to handle a company. In fact, I was just a novice in this kind of world, even tech and everything. But then I had it in me that if I start today, next 2 years I'm going to grow big. So it was just 1% every day. I read books, I go online, I do researches, I follow top people, right? And when they speak, it just seems like they're speaking to me. They give me the courage. Because I've learned this, I just feel like I can do it, right? So you don't need to wait for others to tell you you can do it. It's actually something you have to develop every single day. Talk to yourself, listen to what you can do, and believe God, you will
Wow.
grow.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you very much. Because I know you've said this. You've one of you were a guest in my podcast and you've said this before. But then,
Yeah.
the more I hear it, the more I'm like, wow, you've really done some amazing things and you've achieved a lot of things. The amount of people you've trained, the kind of recognition you've gotten, and it's not about size. Mm-mm. It's not about it's not about how small or big you are. It's not about
Yeah,
how much old or young you are. It's literally
mm,
about what's upstairs, like what you can
of
offer,
course.
the impacts, and every other thing. Because someone younger can actually do something bigger that people are like, wow, who is she? Who is he? How did she do this? And so that's it. Whether you are 20, 50, 60, it doesn't matter. So
Sure.
that's the message that, she's trying to pass across and I'm trying to like retrace. So I've heard a lot about imposter syndrome, and we ladies are more, how will I put it? Is it really like in our circle more than any other person? And there was a time I kind of like tried to dwell in, I don't know if I'm doing enough. I don't know if I've achieved enough. I don't know if what am I even doing? Like, and I forgot that I have achieved something. I forgot that there are things I have done. I forgot that I needed to celebrate more of my wins to give me that motivation to push ahead. And so, Kinga, please, I don't know if you have had this experience before or you believe in this. So tell us more about it. How is imposter syndrome? How should we go about it in our lives as women?
I think recently there was the rugby player. I don't know if you heard about that on CNN. There was that famous discussion that came
Yes.
out, yeah, around imposter syndrome, and I can totally relate to that, I guess, because um, I felt this pressure throughout my life when I was asked that question to have a response And yet in the back of my mind, I guess I always felt like, what are you talking about? Like, and I think that when you are just genuine to who you are and you have learned to show up that way, and I didn't know how to be anything else. I, I really didn't understand what they meant by imposter syndrome. And so if you decide early, and start practicing, I am going to be proud and own my actions. So it does take and a decision, I think, that I have a life of integrity, that I'm going to hold myself to a certain standard. This is who I am, and I choose to be this. Then I don't have to put up any kind of facade. I don't need to live under some. And so I'll work hard towards what I want to. And I love this 1% difference. It has so much to do with my background in technology and the way that I would coach people around not these big, giant, jarring changes, but around incremental, digestible. You can still work towards big goals, but when you do it in a way that breaks things down, it's a lot easier to get there. And, you think about, there's all kinds of analogies, but you don't lose 20 pounds in a day, things like that. So if you kind of take a look at other parts of your life and you go, yeah, that's kind of reasonable. We have to actually work for anything that we want. And so it is that when we talk about continuous learning and things like that, we don't do it so that it's just part of your routine. Introduce little things and ask yourself questions. And so I ask myself questions nonstop. I just I don't understand boredom. Because I'm like, well, could I do this? What about this? And so I think that just, kind of holding true part of it.
Wow, like well, at some point, I thought maybe I was the only person who felt this, and I was still trying to try to see if any other person feel the way I feel sometimes. But is it really a bad thing, or is it a good thing? Someone said something before. Someone said that maybe imposter syndrome will help you to still achieve more goals or bigger goals because the more you feel like uh you need more to do, the more you go high. I don't know, but how does that really work? Like, what's your input?
What do I think, or
Yes.
um, if you have imposter syndrome, will you achieve more goals? I guess I think that it's kind of an unhealthy mindset. I think that what is the good in feeling like you're fake? I guess for me personally, I'm not sure. I think that it's implying that we should feel this disconnect from ourselves. And I don't want that for anybody. I want people to feel more connected to who they are and to feel like they don't have to live this double life. Because that's where we start losing trust in ourselves and in each other. And I think that feeling like, yeah, you're going to get what you're going to get. This is who I am. And that is what brings consistency. And yet also shows that humans are different under different circumstances and that we don't have to be perfect all the time because that's just not what humans are. And so it kind of just brings the humanity to everybody. And I think then we can learn to be more accepting. So I think that it's just better to say, these are my core beliefs. These are my philosophies. I'm open to changing them, or these are the things that I'm working on right now, and I'm exploring them. And so, learning how to communicate, and working through that together, and deciding, at different stages of our lives and at different stages of maturity, what are our common goals? What do we want to work on right now? And how can we pull together and do that?
Wow.
That's what I would say. Yeah. Don't be an
Like,
imposter.
no. I mean, you said an amazing thing. Thank you very much. Because, I was like, when I heard that, I was like, well, I don't know. There are people that are going to hear some things and they're like, I don't know if I'm going to take this. I don't know if I'm going to take that. Maybe my belief will work better. I don't know. But you really said a lot of insightful things. Thank you very much. And I appreciate that. And Benedicta, I don't know. Since you built HGX, is it HGSC, right? HGSC. You are,
HASC squared. Don't
yes,
forget the
HGSC.
squared.
Hey, please. I want to talk about the squared. And because I missed that in my write up and talk about it. How did you come about that square?
Okay, so the squared, HASC squared is actually an acronym. So the four skills we offered as a company are just the acronym you have there. So H stands for health writers, G stands for ghostwriters, S stands for social media managers, and C, one of the C is copywriters and one of the C is content writers. So when you remove the square, you're actually calling just the copywriters, excluding the content writers. So they both are squared, the C square. That's why.
Wow. Okay, now I got it. Thank you. And then what are the mistakes you made when you were starting? Because it's not all about building a company. It's There are several steps, there are several experiences, there are several things involved until you get to a stage that you're like, oh, I'm now balanced a little bit, even if I'm still growing. So let us know, what are the mistakes and what did you learn from them?
Okay, so one of the mistakes is not building my vulnerability. So I'm a very emotional person, right? So I can easily I don't like to hear praise from people because I know I can easily give into it. I'm very emotional. So and that's one of my weaknesses as well. So I didn't work on it so well because so as a leader, there are certain things you don't take in and there are certain things you have to do to hold the company going and to move it. At first, I didn't take it serious as I was busy building a company because we just moved from just a community, a general community everyone could join. Then we moved to a branded company and we got registered and all that. So I still had the mindset of, okay, these are my people, and having this, allowing everyone to give in their ideas. And at some point, I'm very confused. But then I think I should have set my boundaries immediately I stepped up as a registered company. Though God saved me, it wasn't so bad, but then I should have had it in mind that this is business. There are things you don't take in, there are things you don't do, and you don't make decisions at any point without having to sleep over it, having to, look at the two-sided advantage and disadvantage in the future. Because whatever I do now, whatever step I take now, whatever I accept now is going to either build a company in the next 5 years, or maybe in the next 5 years is going to ruin it. So these are some of the things that I didn't get to, understand earlier as someone coming in that position as a CEO, right? But I think some experiences has taught me and I've grown past that. And thank God it's not so bad anyways.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, your experiences are
Yeah,
something that anyone can learn from. And even if somebody wants to start
true.
a company, they're like, because I think I've heard about your story and I was like, oh my God, you went through a lot of things, even uh, registering your name. And it was just like, I was like,
Mm,
wow, if it's not someone
yeah,
who is strong and focused on the goal, the person would have easily given up in that process.
of course, yeah.
Thank you very much. So, Kinga,
Yeah.
okay, I know you must have been criticized in one way or the other. And even when you were a VP of Agile, I was like, oh my God, VP, oh, how did you get there? And when it comes to criticism and being labeled as, oh, you're doing too much, how do you take that?
Yeah. So the VP position, I was part of a company that was going through an agile transformation, or that was their goal, was to as a private equity backed software company. And so to back it up kind of in my entire career trajectory, I was always passionate, like I mentioned, around getting groups of people aligned around common goals. And working in the tech industry, I was leading several of these agile transformations. And so for those of you that might not be familiar with that, it's a specific way of software development where it's kind of a combination of project management. Actually, as of December of just 2024, I think even December 31st, so last day, the Agile Alliance merged with the PMI Institute, which is the Program Management Institute, or project management. So they merged with them, and because they're just considered kind of, project doesn't really begin and end. It's a life cycle. If you think about a lot of software, you don't even notice the updates come out. They're just pushing out kind of, fixes and new features. And so to do something like that, it's so complex. The entire organization, just like marketing or anything, it's continuous, right? And so this method of working together as a team had to change the way we work together. And so that's how Agile, to kind of break it down, is how I think of the way we work together. And so I was working with this company that was private equity backed, and they were the goal of a private equity company is to sell. It's kind of like when you do a flip this house. I don't know if you have ever seen any of these kind of shows or anything, but the purpose is you buy something when it's struggling and you get some investment. Yeah, and then flip
then
it.
you sell it off when it's maybe the value have increased a little bit.
Yeah, and the values increase. So that's the same thing with companies. That's what they do. And so the way that they, saw that happening usually is increasing the value is by making it more agile. And even though agile is kind of considered something that's failing in a lot of people's eyes, it's because they don't really understand the process. And it's not process, it's mindset, it's taking program management practices. It's a combination of actually a lot of things, and it's a strategy. And so that's what I was hired to do, is kind of come in and take a look at things. I think it's kind of a good zoom in, zoom out approach of taking a look at all of the workflows that are happening within the organization and saying, are the right data points being looked at? How is it with the customers? If a customer complains, are they filing an issue, and, who gets it when, and how is it prioritized, and how do we communicate back, and all those information loops. So we were able to sell the company pretty quickly and make a lot of profit. And so during that process, that's how I got to vice president. So, and then your second question was, what kind of criticism did I face? Well, that's a lot of change for people. If you think about it, and we also had an acquisition. And the reason we do that is because we end up getting into other target markets, so we can buy their customers basically, and you can make further reach and all this stuff. So when you sell the company, you're getting a lot with that. And so I did pretty well into integrating all these people, but it's a lot of change for a lot of people, because all of a sudden the way we sell things is different, the way we market things is different. And I made it a smooth transition, but that's a lot of buy-in. And when you don't have that getting pushed from the top, but you have it getting pushed from someone inside, which is who I was, where I'm coaching everybody and I'm introducing the change, and I'm forcing the decision making, being like, okay, executives, we're going to have to decide between this or this. they were frustrated because they wanted everything. And so kind of being stuck in the middle is where you get crushed. So yeah, it was a lot of criticism. It was a difficult position to be in, and I think that we're in a unusual place where it's seen as the answer, and yet I don't necessarily recommend that that is the way that we solve problems anymore, because I think that that weight is too burdensome for one department or person. I think it needs to potentially be handled by another way. So that's kind of why I came up with execute your intentions, is to help people understand what their intentions are and how we can collectively solve problems.
Wow, that is amazing. Thank you very much because that criticism and for example, like you said, when you're bringing something new to a place, an organization, and it's already heated up, and everyone is like, "Oh, why you this, why that?" And if you are not strong-willed, and maybe because you're a woman, I don't know, but let me not
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah.
If you are not strong, they are going to push you down and say, no, let's continue the old way. And they know, or maybe are not aware that the new change is going to be something that would cause a lot of goodwill or even help the company grow, So all those things are just, well, I appreciate you. And for Benedicta, I'm kind of like trying to put in a little hot seat, but what kind of mindset shift did you change? And I mean, well, for me, I would start by saying that where I come from as a young lady, I faced a lot. I would hear people say, oh, women are just for the kitchen, women are for this, women are for that, the girl child is that, the girl child is not strong. In fact, education is not even appropriate. Just get married and enter the kitchen, give birth. Those things are what we are to do. But apart from those things for some, they probably just put it in their head and they didn't want to go to school. Now, I'm not saying that those that didn't go to school, it's what happened to them because there are people who didn't really have opportunities to maybe go to university and they also maybe have opportunities to learn life skills that would help them also to be who they want to be. So because of that, I didn't really allow that kind of thing to enter my head to have that belief of, oh, because I'm a girl child, I'm not useful. So what kind of mental like mindset shift did you change from? Did you really have any kind of societal stereotype when you were younger and up to this moment?
So this might be a controversial point that I'm about to make, but I think that there is a large gap in society in general. And I think that the larger that the gap is between the person trying to do the work and the people around them, the more that they can have empathy between anybody else that is struggling, the more that they are able to tap into that, where other people have that blind spot. And so I was able to quickly seek out the blind spots of the group and look for the people that needed empathy
Mhm.
because I felt it. And so I was quickly able to assess everybody's needs. And when you're doing stakeholder management at that level, where I had to literally keep the entire company happy, right? You have to be keenly aware of everybody's needs. When you have been put into a position where you have survived that, you are now at an advantage, which is unfortunate, but it is an advantage, because you have an insight into, well, I know what it feels like, and I know how to look for how to take care of things in a way that is healthy and kind. And so I don't believe that it's all just about being smart. I believe it is about our hearts as well. And I believe that that is how we succeed. Um, we cannot, there are two parts of there's more than two parts of our body, right? But there's like one cannot live without the other. And if we don't see this, right, like it's too lopsided. And so that is how I was able to get people to work together, is that I help them see the imbalances, and I would demand that we would, hey, hold on, we're working as a team. And so the way that I might draw the analogy is like when one person falls, we all stop and we all say, are you okay? And we don't move forward, right? Like, so it was getting the team to be in more of a team mentality, right? And that doesn't mean that we don't all have our strengths and our weaknesses. It doesn't all mean that, it wasn't about just saying a blanket statement that everyone, gets the exact same pay scale or anything like that, but what it was about was we have a common goal. We make commitments together in short increments. It wasn't like, yeah, you're bound to this thing forever, and we're not trying to trap anyone into anything, but that together we're going to be more successful if we learn how to take care of one another. And it's through kindness and empathy and using our skills. And the only way that you can really learn kindness and empathy is when you try to put yourself in the shoes of another. And that was to my advantage, that I could feel sorry and notice when somebody was hurting when nobody else in the room was noticing it.
Wow. I felt that. I was like, okay. And you've said empathy. Well, it's not everyone do not really have, it's kind of like a soft skill that not everyone have, but can be learned. And if you learn it, it's really
Mhm.
something that would help you in your business, in either professionally or personally. So Benedicta, what mindset shift did you adjust? Benedicta, what mindset shift did you adjust? I mean, even from maybe when you were younger to now becoming the leader you are.
Okay, so I would say that first, I had to adjust a mindset of external validation. So,
Hmm.
growing as a young girl, I would always want to get validations, or want someone to confirm before I do my things, right? But I've come to have a mindset change and reset. I've redefined my mindset in a way that I understand that I'm the only one that understands my calling. The only one that understands where I'm going to, right? So it doesn't make sense to everyone, definitely. Sometimes when I, share my goals and visions with some people, I just have this feeling that, oh no, this is the wrong person to tell this, right? So it has helped me to have a change in the way I plan my things. And it's also, in a way, grew my confidence level to know that yes, not everyone will understand. So even when I hear these negative advices from people. Oh, you're doing so much. You need some rest. You're too young. You're a lady. You're going to get married tomorrow. So all this doesn't matter. All those words. I just have this confidence in me that tells me, remember, they don't understand the calling, they don't understand the journey, they don't know where you are going to, right? So definitely I just knew that just me, God, and myself, we know where we are heading to. So that's actually the best mindset shift I had, and it took me a lot. I've always been this person that when my because I'm the last child, right? So I have a lot of siblings, senior ones, and like seven of us. So they always be like, "Oh no, you don't need to buy that clothes. It doesn't suit your color. No, you don't need to make up. You don't need it." Just so many things, right? And you always want to, even when you do it without consent, you always want to come back and say, "Oh, why did you do this? You should have waited for me. I didn't give you the consent," right? So it made me to, go into my shells and always wait for someone to say, "Okay, go ahead." But then I think I broke out from it, and it's helped me to grow better. It helped me to make my personal decisions that I know even my parents might not understand, right? So yeah, that's my best mindset shift so far.
Wow, like that's really something that yeah, someone needs to like adjust because well, having it doesn't really mean that oh, you will not have a partner or you won't have a friend or someone you can talk to or you can seek advice from.
Mm,
But then don't allow that to really like be a barrier to achieving what you want to achieve. As ladies, yeah, we are meant to do the feminine stuff we need to do. You get married, you do this, you achieve that, but don't allow because I haven't seen this or because of this kind of validation, I haven't. You don't need all that validation, especially from external people who are literally waiting for you to be who they want you to be. Because
sure.
if you want, especially the society we are in, let's enter Instagram. They want you to dress in a certain way, they want you to talk in a certain manner. And if you really, dance to their drum, it's going to be a continual thing and eat you up. And at the end of the day, you start to like second guess yourself, start to like ask yourself certain things that in terms of I don't know what I'm doing. Am I really getting it? I think I used to feel that way at some point. But then even when I was in the
Mm.
university, a friend of mine, in fact, she's not my friend. She wanted to be my friend. But coming in to say, "Oh, I don't like the hair you're wearing. Is old. Is that the wristwatch
Exactly.
you're wearing? Just you are making money. Just buy a certain kind of clothes." And I'm like, mm-mm, "That's not me. I don't want someone to change who I am just because of how they want me to appear. I want to be like who I am because of who I am." And because
True.
of that, I had to cut out from that kind of thing because if I had tuned into that, I don't know how it would have been.
Mm-hmm.
So that validation thing, it's really so important. And thank you for addressing that. And I would ask you again, Benedicta, as women, how can we
Yeah.
truly like ask for what we deserve in our workplaces or generally?
Okay. The thing is, we women, because we are always underrepresented in the society, and we are not where you know respected to some extent. There are places nobody believes a woman should be there. It's just a general thought. So if you
Wow.
actually want to ask for what you deserve, where you want to be, or whatever you feel like, oh, this I need it, you really need to be well grounded in a lot of information. So let's say, for example, you want to be the president of a country tomorrow. And as a woman, if a man knows like 90%, sorry, let me use a lower figure so I can increase it later. So let's say a man knows 70% of what politics is and the game and everything in it. As a woman, you need to know 90 because you need to communicate clearly. You need to explain to people more why you should be in that position. And more people need to key into your ideas. They need to buy your ideas. They need to believe that you are capable, right? So, expressing and telling people who you want to be and what you need to be, you don't need to just say it without them feeling your confidence. I was telling my my community members for a writing challenge. I told them that when I read posts on LinkedIn, I can sense when somebody is not confident. in what they're saying. Your writing and the way you put out things, they all matter. And that's what gives you, that's what creates space or open doors for more opportunities for you. People want to feel you, they want to know what you can capably, carry out without, flopping, or people know that women, we have emotions, and coming to leadership, we can make mistakes of a lot of things that they don't really want us to do. So they don't, I would say they don't have that trust in us. So you really need to show it by the way you talk, the communication level, and the things you know. Sometimes I just do researches on things that doesn't even matter in my life, because you need to be wide in knowing a lot of things. You need to be exposed. You need to meet people. You need to break out of your shell, because there are positions you need to go to. You don't need to be a shy person. Being an introvert doesn't matter to anybody in some
Exactly.
positions. So there are things you need to really let go. There are things you need to learn. There are people you need to know, right? You need to even know their history, so that when you meet them, you can communicate to some extent. So it's very important. So for us to ask for what we deserve is a lot of work for us, but it's really not difficult. It's not something you should pressure yourself about. It's not something you should feel like is a lot. It's just a 1% thing of every day trying to put your head everywhere, knowing things, reading, and just being yourself, right? So it's very helpful. That's my thoughts on that.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
The
Okay. And
one
when
was
I look
still
at
fun.
what it was, Kinga, when I
Yeah.
look at you, I'm like, I don't know, were you always a VP all your life? Like how? Because you must have started from somewhere. How did you migrate from where you started to that level, and to VP? How did you? How like was the position just given to you? How were you able to ask for what you deserve? Did you ask for the promotion? Did you ask for pay, rise or something?
Oh, yeah, no. That that was not until um the kind of that was out of a more of a demand, honestly. So it was building up the confidence and finally saying, I have accomplished all these things. It is undeniable proof. And I just said, if I don't, I'm out of here. And that's not the way that you want to get a promotion, right? That doesn't feel, um, it does not feel at all like recognition. And so it's not something that I would recommend. When I look back on my career, there's a lot of lessons learned for me. And that's why I believe that we need more mentorship. We need more, it's frustrating to me because I hear a lot of go find your mentors. And I also think that it's our responsibility as people who are capable of being mentors to go find people to mentor. Because, honestly, when you're feeling a little beat down, it's hard to find them. And I certainly didn't feel that way in my situation, that anybody was looking for me. And it depends on your situation, right? Um, and so I think that while I was earning it and had already earned it, um, it was a struggle to get there, and it came kind of out of necessity. We were in a transition period, and then when the company was through the transition period, I was laid off. So it was not a pleasant journey for me. Yeah, so that's all I can say about that.
I mean, okay, you did that. Like, how can you really if you were to go back and correct what happened that time, what approach would you have used this time around? Maybe if you want to ask for promotion or to ask for what you want.
I think if I look back on my entire career, I would be more aware of toxic situations just from the beginning. I think I started to become aware of it, and yet because I was still feeling singled out to some degree, and yet there was toxicity kind of breeding. I I was into blaming myself. I was also raised in a household where I was taught to think there's always something you can do. And I think that's true, but to an unhealthy point where I wasn't taught to also look for signs of toxicity. And so I'm happy that now we are more aware of those kinds of things. And um, so I think like looking back, just really being aware of how people are behaving and the signs of toxicity that you can look for. I think that's kind of the most important thing, is going back to that sense of empathy and things like that. Like, can we really be proud of ourselves, the way we're behaving? Can we look to the people that we're working with? Are we appreciative of, the way that they're treating us? And when we start to feel that icky feeling, like you mentioned that woman, and you quickly corrected yourself, saying, actually, she's not my friend, and able to walk away. The sooner that we learn those kinds of lessons, the more we talk about those kinds of lessons, which was very taboo in my earlier careers, I think the healthier we become. So I
That's
think
really
that's,
like the right approach. Yes, that's the right
yeah,
approach to it. Seriously. Thank
yeah.
you for that. And to all my viewers, I can see some people watching. Thank you so much for joining. And drop your comments if you have questions. I know we've not gotten to the Q&A, but if you have questions, just drop them in the comments, and we are gonna address them as well. So like this video and share to your friends. Even after this live, they are gonna watch it too. So thank you. And let me ask you, Benedicta, because everyone have routines as women. Everyone, I have my personal thing. Maybe I love to do meditation and you don't like to do meditation. Some people like to read, some people like to do certain things. So what are some healthy habits we can literally and generally adopt as leaders that would help us to, I mean, this is not just about business or professional thing, even in your personal life.
Okay, so I would say that one of the habits I've developed lately is to balance um most parts of what life entails. So it goes from educational, social, spiritual, emotional. So I'll just put them in one after the, as a time management coach as well. I help people to put those in their schedules. So I've just find a way to, dedicate some time for most of the things that I need to get balance in. So I noticed that I can't force myself to sit down and read books. I'm someone that I have written 5 books, but I'm not a good I'm not good in reading books, right? I can only read books when I use my AirPods to listen to them when I'm doing other things. So, and I had to develop a habit for it. I mapped that time, and the best time I found out was when I'm coming back from work, when I'm in the train. I just get my book. I have a book in my bag. I just read, even if it's just like 3 pages every single day. I make sure I read something out of it. So I curtail answering calls or chatting when coming back. So I use that time to read. So maybe when I'm walking down from the train, I can be on a call because I can't be reading while walking. So I had to adjust a lot of things. And I even had to put a habit of in the morning I listen to some prayers, and when I'm bathing, I play some motivational speech to start my day, or I either play songs to sing out my, bring out the strength in me for the day because it refreshes my mindset. And when I'm eating at work, I watch TikTok for minutes. Like I have my settings scheduled for TikTok just for 10 minutes. So once it's past that time, it's going to shut it down. So I watch the latest music. So it can help me in my dancing career. So I will not I'll not be so bored on my wedding day, right? So it's actually
Okay,
those
I think
little
I need to go for
things.
dance lessons as well because
Right? Yeah, everyone needs it. Definitely. This is what makes life lovely, and this is what makes you happy. What makes you feel yourself better, right? So when you don't do these little things, you're always like, oh, I want to focus on LinkedIn, I want to focus on Instagram, I just want to read books, I just want to know. You don't do one particular thing so much that it overwhelms you. That's why people break down. It's not as if I can't break down. I know I do a lot of things. I can easily break down, but then I like to balance my psychological thinking. I like to balance my mental health. Sometimes I just want to watch a movie, and I'm always planning myself on what I can do every day to release some stress out of me. Sometimes I just want to sleep early. I don't want to do any other thing, no teaching, no coaching, no interview, no nothing. Just go to bed, right? So all these little things and habits, just every single day you gain something. I listen a lot of talks from Tony Robbins, and he's one of the mentors I have in coaching career. I listen a lot to Vusi. He's one mentor I have in business, and everything sells. So these little things, the places you are, what you're doing, and professional wise, I know I have physical mentors I talk to, right? So all these little things helps you as a lady everywhere. Saturate yourself with things that makes you happy and things that makes you grow every single day. There shouldn't be a day where maybe you're not either learning this or you're not growing in this. Both should work pari passu. One shouldn't be higher than each other. So it's about finding balance in your habits. Thank you.
well, like what you said is true because even I'm not saying you shouldn't be professional. A lot of ladies are like, oh, I want to be so professional. I want to be this, or I want to be too holy, or I want to be too righteous. I want to be too. There's
Mhm.
you have to have balance in everything. And even when
Sure.
you are growing, when you are trying to build your confidence as a lady, there's let me say that I was as shy as maybe no one else on earth that I couldn't even record myself. The time I started to learn how to record videos, I record and I delete, I record and I delete. I'm like, oh, what's this? I record every single time. I had to learn how to be confident on camera. I had to learn how to be able to talk without my voice being shaky all the time. And even right now, it still happens. When we started, I was like, I was like, oh, okay. You breathe in, you breathe out, you do this, you do that. It's every day you learn new thing, and every day you develop to be a
Sure.
strong person. And so when you have that balance, you
Mm.
have a lot of things you do. Even if you don't really have like you, I mean, you are the time management guru. When I was in Scrum, like this time is for this, I set alarm for that, I do this for this, and it's really helped me. So that balance, like you said, it's something that helps a lot because breaking down is really, really like it's real. It's real. When you're always like,
Sure.
I'm always trying to write content for the next day. I must meet up so and so time. I have to do this. I have to do that. And you don't have any social life or you don't have anything that takes you away for a minute or two from that deep mental session. It's going to be a lot of trouble later on. And that's basically it. Nothing much. And well, Kinga, how do you bring like you do you also have like physical connections? How do we build that physical connection from online connection as leaders? I know I'm shy, but I
Mm.
try, you know. But
At least you know
how
some
do we do
persons.
that? Yes, at least. So, Kinga,
Mm.
tell us, how do you build that strong connection?
I am very fortunate living in Austin, Texas, because we just have so many great events here. And so, just by design, it's kind of overwhelming sometimes, and so many
Uh,
great organizations. And I actually just uh, was signing up like 2 days ago. I was looking, there's an event called South by Southwest. And I have a little clip in one of my Forbes Coaches Council collaborative articles, and it was about conferences, and that's what I was highlighting. And I'm looking at the speaker list, and people from all over the world come for this. And I know several of the speakers, and from online, that are going to be speaking. And so it generates I'm a extrovert, and I love these online connections, but to me it brings that together. And so I'm giddy. I just sit here going, wow, I get to actually hug this person that I have been talking about, my friend Henna Pryor. And I am part of Chris Doe's future pro group, and that he'll be here. And so there's just tons of amazing people that are coming. And I I think that when you have these opportunities, you get to do that. But I also think that we have opportunities to create them. There's nothing stopping anyone, much like what I think you try to do or already do. But there's nothing like, why not just say, that we have Eventbrite, we have so many places, and that's how so many things started organically, where someone says, I have this interest, this thing I care about, whether it's AI. I'm also part of an online group called She Leads AI. But if there are people in Austin, what stops us? And I guess that's what I say at
mm,
work all the time. There's nothing actually stopping us, right? Like, who are we waiting for? Wait, that's me, right? And so
yeah,
so if you're ever thinking that, like, who's stopping you, then be that person, to start it, and start a meetup or whatever. And it starts small, and set your expectations that you might be disappointed a couple times, but eventually it might grow into something awesome and beautiful. And so why not take that chance?
yeah,
Those are my favorite things.
yeah. Sis, are you there? You're muted in case you're talking. Um, Precious.
I might have lost her. Do you do online events, or,
Mhm.
or offline events?
Yeah, I do digital skills. So everything is actually online. We teach online every coaching. We don't have a physical working shop or
Hmm.
place for now. So
Hmm.
yeah, we offer 12 skills in the company, and we are still bringing in more tech skills soon.
Hmm.
I'm just working
Yeah.
on that for now. Yeah.
Do you have any events that are just like for business connections, or just even just making friends, I guess, that
Yeah,
are
I've actually had one. I just had one in January. That was on 25th of January, but it was in Leicester. So I traveled from London to attend. But then we are working on having a LinkedIn event here in London. Yeah, it's just I've just I shouldn't have said it, but then we are just working on it. We just have the thoughts and we are saying, oh, how can we do this? Yeah.
Yeah, I have
We're just
friends in
having
London. I mean, like, that's the thing, is when you get people connected, I'm like, I already think
mm,
about, like, oh, I should look up this person, and so it's a matter of putting
yeah,
something out there. And
of course, yeah.
yeah, and then you can get people connected and excited for you. And To me, that's the great thing about networking, and you don't have to
True.
necessarily be there, but
Mm-hmm.
you never
Of
know what's
course,
going to
yeah,
transpire.
definitely, yeah. One thing with events is that you never know how much people that you're like that you have in your environment unless you go to physical meetings. And I noticed something that people on LinkedIn, we are just always attracted to high creators, people that have thousands of followers or millions of followers. And there are so many hidden beautiful connections on LinkedIn. And when I meet them physically, I'm always like, wow. When you listen to them speak, I'm always like, wow. The big people that we are looking up to, like we want to meet and we want to talk to, are there. They have always been around, right? They have always been our connection. Some of them are even my connection. When I meet them physically, I'm like, okay, I'll connect with you. And when I go check, I'm connected to them, but I've never had time to talk to them, chat with them, or even have a call or meet up. But when you meet them on events, it's always very natural to speak to them, and you get disconnected that when you answer calls with them, you're always like, oh, I've known her for years now. Physical events is actually the best. And this part of the world don't create more time for those. You're always busy with one thing, and on weekends you just want to rest. But then it's something worth it, because when you meet people, you exchange a lot.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
exchange value, you exchange years of experience, you even exchange your level of network. So let's say you know someone I need for my next level in life. I might know something, or I might have people that you need for your business, right? So definitely we indirectly exchange the solution we need from each other. And that solves it. That's how the world is meant to be. Meet people every day, exchange whatever you
Yeah.
have, and yeah,
Yeah, you
that's
feel
how
the
we breathe
energy
and we live.
different, right? Yeah. There's more
Yeah,
care, I think. And I think that's something that is just amazing when we can extend that care.
of course, yeah, yeah.
Precious, we got you back.
She's here finally.
Uh-oh. Is she frozen?
Yeah, she's not here. So, Kinga, where are you actually? US. I heard you said you grew up in the US, yeah?
Yes, but I live in Austin, Texas.
Oh, that's in UK.
And uh-oh,
Oh, that
you're
stopped
the
recording.
we lost her. I would imagine that means we're not streaming.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah, she was actually recording. I think it stops now. Just need to.
Poor
I wonder
thing.
what's happening. Yeah, it
Oh,
happens
I feel bad for
sometimes.
oh. I know I feel bad for her.
Ne- Network can really be so messy.
I
So how
know.
is work going? Yeah, you talked about toxicity at work and some stuff. So I know it must really be difficult. You said you're keen to knowing people's personal needs and all that. I think that should be a lot of work, because yeah, I'm not that big in management and leadership, but I know that taking your time to know everybody's need is a lot of work. I think I have an employee of 15 to 20 at the moment, and I know it's a lot. So how do you do it? I would love to learn from you, right? I think you're more experienced in that.
I yeah, it was really hard. And so what I want to do now is to help people during this like hyper growth, because that is what I ultimately kind of did for these executives, was help them do the work without them doing the work.
Mm,
And yet that's not scalable, right? Like me, I think putting somebody else to do your relationship building and then therefore sustaining that is not clearly doesn't work, because as soon as they, quite frankly, as soon as they laid me off, from what I understand, everything fell apart because you need somebody, you need to have a sustainable system. And they just assumed that I built such a strong system, which I did, that things would just keep going because it looks easy,
Sure.
but it's not, because you actually have to live the values. And that's why
Yeah.
I talk about leading with integrity, because if you're not living true to these values and believing in them as the CEO, it's not going to work.
True.
And it's kind of the beauty of it, and it's also kind of the downfall for some people. It's bad news, for it's like it's bad news for the
Mm-hmm.
bad guys, and it's good news for the good people. um,
True.
you know,
Definitely.
and it's kind of wild. Like, I actually think that this is going to be, we're going to go through kind of a hard time, because
Yeah.
there's resistance about this change, because the a lot of people are going to crumble from power positions, because they're going to not that they're even going to realize, it's just, you can't be abusive and continue to thrive. Um,
True.
because eventually if you hurt everybody that's there to help you, they're too weak to help you,
Mm.
no matter what. You can't get you think that you'll be able to get good work out of them, but you can't. So your
True.
empire eventually crumbles.
Sure.
And so I think that people don't necessarily like, and maybe, and unfortunately maybe not, and during their lifetime or whatever, so they don't get that bigger picture. But I think that other people are starting to kind of understand that, and so hopefully we quickly turn things around. But I think, when we understand that concept, more
Yeah.
people get on board quickly and go, wait a second,
Mm.
like, this is just not going to work. Let's just be good. Let's just be nice to each other. Let's just actually
Yeah.
stop and pay attention to the fact that we're hurting one another, and let's just not do that. you know um
True.
and when we
Yeah.
decide to stop hurting one another, it's the possibilities are really endless and beautiful. And so,
Sure.
so for someone like you in your position, it's a matter of understanding, okay, what am I
Mm.
really trying to do? What is my vision? It's digging deep into some of that stuff. And it's okay if you don't have all the answers. I think that what happens is that CEOs feel like this immense pressure to come up with the right answer, because they're like, well, you're telling me to be
Mm.
transparent, and then you're also telling me, so am I locked in, am I not locked in? And what I help with is this adaptability, framework that says, no, it's not about being perfect, it's not about having all the answers, it's about giving just the right amount of information about your plans, that people feel like they understand you and your integrity and how decisions are made. And so it's around a lot of this decision making process, so that they know how to align with you and that they agree with you, and how can you treat them right, so that they can just kind of jump in and jump out and know how to help. And because most people want to, or those are the kind of people you want on your team, um,
Mm.
and that you can treat them in that healthy way. And when you understand how to work that way, where they feel like their voices are heard and they have an opportunity at the right time, you're ultimately the decision maker. So it's kind of just establishing that, um, and then being transparent around those concepts and knowing what type of information goes into that type of framework and concept.
Yeah, that's very, very important. That's absolutely very important. I appreciate you for that. And yeah, Precious is here. So thank
We're
you so
still
much
here.
for that, Kinga. I really so much appreciate. I learned so much from that, and I'm taking it away with me, and I'm going to work with it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad if it
Okay,
was helpful.
so yeah.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, leadership has never been easy. You know, when so many people are fighting to get to that level, I would always advise them. I hope you're well prepared. I hope you're well grounded. You've learned a lot, and it's always easy to lead when you've worked from the floor. I would
Mhm.
say from the lowest parts.
Yeah.
It's always easy because then you know, or you understand how this person would feel, what's what level of work he or she is doing, and the burden and every single thing the person is passing through. So I would say it's easier for me to lead as CEO of this company because I was once a coach.
Yeah.
When we started, I was coaching three different classes at once. So I understand what it is to coach people. I understand the students' feelings. I understand the concepts of creating course materials, having to come online every single day, assignments, projects, and all that. Like I've done it before and I'm still doing it. Now I just coach one class, the professional coaching, but then I've coached others before. So it's more easier for you when you've taken the ground level. So when you are at the top, you understand how to, and it's easier for you to relate with your coaches, people working in your company, because you were once in that level and you would understand better. And there are things you don't react to because you know you were once there.
Yeah.
So I think that's it, anyways. Yeah, Precious, welcome back. She's still muted.
Hi.
I don't I don't know what to say seriously because I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We
Tech
can.
issues, they happen. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's natural.
I was almost frustrated. I was like, "Oh my god, what's this? What happened?" All right. So I kind of like enjoyed the conversation from the background. We
Oh.
talked we talked about a lot of things from physical events to this one. What have you been talking about? I missed some parts.
We did.
Yeah.
So
Um,
thank you very much. I mean, you guys, you just, you kept it all along. Thank you for, representing. And well, that's
Yeah,
the
we spoke
powerful,
about
yeah.
physical activities, meeting people and networking. Then we went into leadership, and yeah, I was asking her about how she manages toxic environments at work and stuff. So, and she taught me some management skills as well.
Wow, that's amazing. Because I know
Mm.
Kinga has a lot of things. Like in fact, there was a
Mhm.
time before the session we had a call, and she taught me a lot because I'm in the project management. I'm transitioning to that field, so she talked about a lot of agile things, a lot of things. I'm like, oh, okay, I learned a
Yeah,
lot from her from day one, and I was confident that this one is going to be extraordinary indeed,
sure.
and it is. So, without wasting much of your time, thank you very much for coming. And I love for you, Benedicta, to share with us the advice that you can literally give to any lady who is stuck and unsure of the next step.
Okay, so I would easily say that you should trust your instincts. I have grown to understand that we ladies we have these special instincts built in us. Ladies can easily know when for example when a baby is crying at home, baby can ladies can easily know when a child is sick, one of their child, even if they are in another country, they can feel it. They can easily know when a man is cheating on them without being physically there. So our instincts most times are always right. So for you to grow as a lady, you need to trust your instinct because it's inbuilt. And most times God wants to wire our passion from our instincts, but we are not listening and we don't want to trust it. And another thing is to listen to your inner self. Most ladies have killed their inner self with lack of confidence. You've shut it up, and now your inner self doesn't even speak up again. You need to regenerate it. You need to bring it up. You need to fire it up again. And how do you do that? As a Christian, I would always advise to pray, read your Bible. God is going to minister to your spirit. And generally, listening to motivational speeches, listening to ladies at the top, listening to life stories. When you hear stories of people who have gone from nobody to somebody and the level they have, broken and stages they have walked in, you're going to feel so inspired to know that you are just starting, no matter what you've achieved. So, and also saturate yourself with people that are very supportive. Ladies, we always have friends that, oh, okay, friends of benefit, I would say. I'm someone that I don't easily make friends. I hardly make friends. In fact, I can't remember how many friends I have. I have less than five. So I'm somebody that I don't pick people because of what I will benefit from them or all those. I pick people because of what I need around me. I need a prayer partner. I might need you because I need a financial partner. I need somebody that can bring in business ideas, right? So I have reasons why I want friends around me. So you should be very, very careful of who you have around you. And my friends I would say I'm blessed with people that are not too jealous. They don't even care what you have or where you are. They are this supportive that they want to come all out and support whatever you are doing and wants to share your idea. They always say you must go for it. And even if when you don't feel like, oh, I want to do this again, your friends they're always in my DM. Benedicta, you've not done this. What's happening? Wake up. You need to do something, right? So you need all this kind of friends. This is when you dream higher because they are rooting for you. So as a lady, trust your instinct. That's what I always advise.
Hmm.
Thank you.
And because we are built with this powerful instinct as lady, like no matter what, that thing in you is like an inbuilt software. Let's use it that
Sure.
way. And
Of course.
once you feel it, you felt something, either whatever you want to use it for, but that instinct will guide you to a lot of things. Thank you for that. Kinga, what should you say, or what are you gonna say?
It's very similar. I believe in some universal truths that just seem to be universal laws for a reason. And, I think about whether it's the law of attraction and law of, vibration and things like that we do have these patterns and we have things that just pull us towards something. And I believe in a life of meaning. And when I am pulled towards something, is it's usually because of whether it's instinct or whatever, but I just know that this is what I need to do and that I am going to stay grounded in who I am and that is how I know that I have to be unwavering and sometimes it's hard and nothing's going to get in my way. And so I'm sometimes I'm not sure why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. But it's more like I'm doing it. Like I just have to. Sometimes I feel like I don't have a choice and it's just who I am. And so when you feel that, think about your meaningful life. And I saw a TEDx that kind of sparked for me. And it was when we are doing something, not just because we feel this purpose, but also because we know that it impacts lives. We know that this is bigger than ourselves. And to me, that feels really important. And I hope that we all can start feeling that, because we do have an impact around us, and we are that important. Every single one of us is unique. There physically cannot be anybody else like us. And so we do have a purpose. Every single one of us does. We do have something to add to the world, every single one of us. And don't let anyone tell you different. And so that voice represents something in this world that needs to be represented. And that's just how I feel about it.
That is it, because that is it. You are not two. Even if you are twin, you have different ideologies, you have different opinions, you have different ways that you do things, even if you are identical. So you are unique in your own little way, in your own big way. And no matter what you do, it's not going to be, I still, give myself that advice. It's not going to be immediate, because things are going to come, and you are going to like feel like at some point, like, what am I even doing? And at some point you're going to feel like giving up, like I have I have someone special around me that always tell me, don't give up. You don't have to just give up because of this. Maybe I'm trying to get to a particular stage or a particular position, and you know that breakdown moment comes in, and you are like, why? So all those things are moments that contribute to your growth, because tomorrow you are going to have a lot of things to discuss, a lot of things to tell people, hey, I was this and this is where I am right now. And building that confidence as a bold and feminine lady, it's not about being feminist, it's about being who you are. It's about growing to
Mm,
becoming that person
Yes.
unapologetically. It's no matter what you do, even if you are not really doing too much, at least every day learn something new. You can either learn a new skill. At least Benedicta has a course. She has a lot of courses, like programs you can queue into to talk about. And Kinga has programs for founders and for executives who want to be more. So these are like every single day, either you read, listen to podcasts, you watch movies that are even maybe educational or insightful,
mm,
videos, anything at all. And if you did not have that opportunity to go to school, I keep saying it, I had the opportunity to go to school and I grabbed it. I went to school and I'm still going for more. So there are so many other vocational activities, courses that you can queue into. Don't be idle. Every single day, you get better as you keep growing. Your only competitor, I said it in my post, it's yesterday. It's not someone around you. Like Benedicta said that you should surround yourself with people who are, who pushes you to be more. I have a friend, and what we do every time is like whenever we have milestones almost every time. Like, oh my god, congratulations! These are what you need. Congratulations, you are doing amazing. Keep going. Reminding you of whether you've done this, whether you've done that. Not someone that when you talk about your wins, she's like, are you sure? Are you
mm.
sure? Those trying to make you
Yeah,
doubt
can you
yourself.
do it? Mm,
Exactly. And those are people that doubt your abilities. You don't need those kind of energy around you. Even if it's not a lady, even if it's a man, even if it's a guy. So those people, either from your family, from your friends, from your loved ones, people that support you, no matter how little, are really people that should be in your circle. It doesn't matter whether they are big people, they are small people. And the more you grow, the more you appreciate yourself, celebrate the little wins you have, and the more you are out there. That idea that you have could be something big tomorrow. That
mm,
super, it doesn't have to be super. You can just start, get ideas from people that have done it and people that have succeeded in doing that thing, and you are going to get there. Every single day is a day of, oh, I made mistake today, tomorrow I'm going to get better, next tomorrow, oh, I've gotten it, oh, this happened, okay, how did I what happened? How did we, like in project management, we planned for risk even before it happens. We check the mitigation strategies, and okay, even if something happens, we we step back to ask ourselves, oh, how did this happen? How can we do it better? How can we move forward without pushing blames? You don't even need to push blames, to say, oh, because I this, because of that. Just focus on what you are going to do, not literally on that mistake. Because the more you keep focusing on the failures, the more you keep that subconsciously, your mind keep telling you, oh, I'm a failure, I'm a failure, I'm a failure. And you are literally going to just go down with that subconscious, thoughts. So I have a lot to talk about, but I don't want to keep talking and talking and talking. And there are going to be more sessions like this. And I just want to say thank you for joining. And you amazing ladies, thank you, thank you, thank you. What's your last word? What's your last word? Because I've learned a lot of things from you guys, and I really appreciate you for coming.
I've learned a lot from you as well. And so I just think that it's not one-sided. These relationships are a two-way street, and I'm inspired by you. And I am inspired by Benedicta, and I've had a lovely conversation with her. And so I'm sorry that you didn't you
Mhm.
weren't able to join us for a little moment there, but it was nice to have a moment. Like, we had our bonding,
Yeah.
and so I think that every moment that we can steal to have bonding opportunities is a moment where we can connect and learn, and just to reinforce your point, I think that special you know opportunity to grow and use it. We use it or lose it, and to me it's growth or decay, and that's how our time is manifesting. And I'm just grateful that this is how I spent my time. So thank you.
Wow, thank you very
Oh.
much, Benedicta.
Okay, so my last word will be, ladies, we need to know that we are the author of our story. You are the one that has the pen to write your story. You have the right to write whatever you want to accomplish or you want to achieve. And you need to know that people would one day want to read your story. And definitely just bear in mind that there are chapters or pages where they read about your failures, they read about your unachieved goals or your setbacks. But always make sure that when they turn over to the next page, they read about your victory. They read about how you continued, how you fought harder, how you finally reached a goal. So I hope this motivates you to know that you are not old enough to do whatever you want to do, and you are not young enough. So whatever you want to do, this is the perfect age. If you're already in your 50s, 60s, that's the perfect age because you have a lot to start with. If you're very young, that's a perfect age because you have a long way to go. So always have in mind that you are at the best time to start. Don't let anyone pressure you, and don't let whatever you see out there pressure you to go the wrong way. Stand your path and do it right. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for these words. Thank you, thank you. I mean, I don't know how to thank you enough, but because you left your busy things and graced this, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much for coming. We've learned a lot from each other. And to my viewers, whether you
Sure.
came now or you are going to come later, drop a comment, share with your friends, your family, your business bestie, your personal bestie, however. And don't forget to,
Mhm.
I'm going to drop a link to all our social media so you can follow us and connect. You can even ask individual questions and queue into their coaching programs or courses or mentorship programs. Even if you are learning or we advise you to learn something, you don't really have to do it by yourself. You can learn from someone who have been there, who have done that, who is still doing it, who have got the results. And these ladies
Mm.
know what they're doing. I'm very sure of it. So thank you for coming, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
Kinga.
It's so nice
Bye,
meeting you.
Precious. Nice to speak with
Thank you
you
so
as well.
much.
Thank
Really
I
you.
was
fun.
trying
Take
to stop
care.
this. I don't know if it's still streaming on YouTube.
Mm.
Oh my goodness, it was amazing. It was amazing. Thank you very much.
Really enjoyed it. You're
Yeah.
amazing.
You
Both
too.
are.
Yeah, Precious, you're doing so well. I'm so really proud of you. I love how consistent you are with your YouTube stuff, and every day I get a notification, Precious just dropped a video, and I'm always like, wow, like back to back value with people you bring in. I'm really so inspired. Sometimes when I just feel like, oh no, I need to rest, I see your notification, and I'm like, no, Precious is not resting. And every day, I love how you upgrade your skills. I'm sure you did the